Hey everybody, it's Lauren DeLisa Coleman for the Inside series here at Filmio, and we are bringing you even more interviews during the Berlin Film Festival, and I am super happy to bring to you Charlton Diaz, who is boots on the ground right now in Berlin at the festival. He has a hot new film in it, and we're just so happy to be able to talk with you, Charlton. How's it going?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm just here in rainy Berlin.
Is it raining right now?
Yeah, it's really rainy and there's like crazy wind storms and stuff.
That's so funny because here in New York last night, it was super windy. Like you just wanted to say like Anti-M. It was so crazy here, you guys, and very heavy rain. So that's odd that it should be like the same, kind of both places. But now the sun has come out. And so hopefully it will there too in Berlin. And so I guess you'll have to do your networking with an umbrella. We'll get to that part in a minute. But please first tell us the name of the film and give us a brief synopsis.
Sure. So the film I created, it's called VCR's Choice. And it's basically like the illustration of somebody's mind, a character's mind. And it has to do with sort of meditating and controlling sexual impulse and going through different chambers of your mind. Yeah.
Just a light, like easy topic like that. When I was really excited to be able to speak with you because I thought, wow, I can't wait to hear kind of how he developed this and a little bit more about just your fond feelings of VCR and emotion and how devices and emotion and all that kind of go together. So could you tell me a little bit about like the journey, like I guess, to the story, and then how you created the whole piece?
Sure. Yeah. I guess I was like kind of inspired by sometimes you get those ads on Instagram that tell you to go to sleep and will have an animation that will help you relax. And then I also thought about how, I guess with like online dating or, online, like these apps where you can kind of connect with people to hook up or something, how it kind of programs us in a way. To feel like validated or be seen by others. So it was kind of, I was really just thinking about making a video that kind of can like get rid of this programming from these type of apps. Yeah.
But I think it's interesting how you used VCRs from back in the day, right? And you guys, I hope that you get to see this because I would love for you to also talk a little bit about the visual presentation of this, right? So it does not look like, it's not like you have, characters, as usual, like actors, actresses walking around in character. This is different, right? So could you describe that a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So it's kind of supposed to be like a moving image as well. And I kind of wanted to I was thinking about just like having old ideas that we kind of let run in our minds. So that's where I kind of got the idea to use this older technology. And
the screen kind of looks like a screen and has like kind of components, window components to it, as if you were looking at an old school television with the VCR, kind of compartment. Like even just saying it, it's like you feel like that was 1,000 years ago. It really wasn't, but so much has happened in the visual space since then. It just is archaic. I used to even work at MTV back in the day when we actually showed videos, and so I remember just giant like tapes that you would get together and messenger over to the editing facility, and it's just so different now, right? But I just thought it was very, very cool how you created this visual appearance of the screen and portions as you're watching it, so it kind of almost feels more like an event somehow than an actual film. How did you come to decide on that kind of visual presentation?
Well, I guess I was also thinking a lot about peep shows, which are also kind of extinct. So that with video kind of, I thought, kind of worked together. Um, and also, I just kind of wanted to create a video that was mostly kind of like would put the viewer on hold almost. And then like with the music choice and just kind of the slow, um, gradual process of like the device unlocking. And the unlocking part was more like the reward for kind of delaying gratification.
I think it just shows a lot of thought in a very special way. But you come from, I mean, a background which no one should be surprised at this once you guys hear, more about it, your background in terms of dance and choreography. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I guess I'm a self-trained dancer. Mainly, I do freestyle, but I have taught in the past, like in high school or and in the YMCA. But dance for me was also kind of like a way of prayer or like self-therapy that I really needed when I couldn't really like talk about my queerness, like just being raised in a religious family. So I really just value like the process of choreographing and creating movements on beat. So yeah, that's kind of always in my work, I feel.
Wow, so interesting. So tell me a little bit about, you're from Canada. What's the filmmaking scene like there, the indie filmmaking scene, or are you still more in like the dance like kind of community, or both, all? How does it kind of shake down for you? Because I just feel like you're just a mad creative. Like if it's arts and creative, like you're there and doing it.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I'm kind of a loner where I live. Like I have a small group of friends, but I'm not really that connected in any kind of like film community or dance community.
So it really just comes like internally. Like, so maybe are you more inspired by things that you read or see or whatever, and then your creative process kind of gets lit from that?
Totally, yeah. Like I'm constantly watching like anything. Like I love just watching films and music videos or animation, and just like everyday life too. I really value like the inner world that we all have. I think we should pay attention to that more and just be more aware that like everybody has like an inner world within them that it like has so much more value than the exterior, I believe. So
I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to that now, if you will. And it's great, though. Of course, I think, creatives are always aware of that, right? But for others, it's just starting to happen now, which is exciting to watch. Tell me a little bit about, though, the making of this film. How long did it take you? And what were some of like the craziest hurdles that you had to overcome that maybe you didn't anticipate?
yeah, well, I originally made this film for a debut art show in Vancouver. So that was kind of like the purpose for it. But I sometimes I'll rent out like just a green screen studio and just kind of film stock footage of myself dancing. Um, so like I like to kind of recycle um, things I make, animation, and just like kind of keep layering animations that I create. And it was all animated in Photoshop, just because I like kind of the old school way of animating in Photoshop and how kind of like old computer it looks a bit. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you do get that vibe when you're watching it, like kind of, I don't know, just the Pac-Man-ish kind of vibe almost. The beauty in that simplicity is just, you kind of just feel that vibe around this. So
yeah.
yeah, so how long did it take you to pull all that off?
This film, I think it
I mean,
took
even
me.
with the recycling, because you have a few shortcuts there, but still.
Yeah, I guess it took me maybe with the dance, maybe like less than a month or a little over a month. Yeah,
So actually not very long at all.
no, not long at all.
So
And
you must be
I
pretty proficient in Photoshop, like the antithesis of me. I'm just like, please, no Photoshop.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just like kind of nerdy about it, I think. Yeah.
So then, did you like? I mean, ever anticipate being at the Berlin Film Festival while you were hanging out with your computer, putting all this together? Like, how'd that come about?
Not at all. I didn't anticipate that at all. Um, yeah, it just kind of felt random, to be honest.
So you
Um,
just decided to submit the work there, or did somebody suggest, or because I mean, this is not your kind of core craft, right? It's more about uh, well, dance and just arts overall. So you're not, solely a filmmaker who's like staking out all of the festivals and has a strategy, right? So how did you decide to do that this time for this work?
Actually, a friend of mine, Oliver Hussein, he decided that he should. He's the one who referred the video to the festival.
How nice.
Yeah, and then they reached out to me and selected it. So,
So I
yeah,
guess you were pretty surprised, no?
I was surprised. It was a really amazing surprise. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So you are there right now in Berlin. You've been there for a little while. Tell me a little bit about what your experience has been there.
In Berlin, it's definitely different from Canada.
Was it your first time in Berlin?
No, it's not. I was here in 2019,
Okay.
but during the summer, so it's like kind of a lot colder now and rainy. But I don't know. I really like this city. It
I do
doesn't.
too.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like super intimidating for some reason. Like,
It's very kind of calming. I always like kind of think of it as a little bit how Soho here in New York used to be before all the major luxury brands came. So it was just a more kind of intimate vibe, artistic, a lot of smaller shops, boutiques. I don't know if they still have, like as soon as the sun starts to set, like candles. There's candles like in all of the cafes and stuff, and it's just kind of magical. And they still even sell absinthe there. I don't know if it's the original one or whatever, but
yeah,
there's a place that I've walked by and I can't remember where it is. And I've walked by it like the two times I've been there, just happened upon it. But it just has this really unusual feel that if you went into the store, like you just wouldn't come out. It's like a portal into something else. And they sell absinthe and etc. I don't know it's like in the windows, but it's a very like kind of I don't know. It's just a magical kind of shop there. I don't.
okay.
I don't know. You have to like look around for it because it's right in the Mitte, right in the center. But anyway, tell me about. So you haven't been able to maybe walk around as much, or maybe brave the rain. But in terms of just being like out and about at the festival and going to the films, what is maybe you've seen that's been inspiring, or have you met people who've been inspiring, or maybe not. It's been, more challenging meeting people under the circumstances of the festival this year.
Yeah, well, I guess like for the premiere of the film, it was only a capacity of 5 people that could watch at a time, and it was in the Canadian embassy, so it was kind of like it's kind of like going through an airport. Like you have to get like security checked and
Oh,
go through a medical
wow.
checker. So it kind of like added another weird element to the film, I think, like making it seem more like exclusive or something for this
How
like
interesting.
pizza.
Yeah, because anything at an embassy gives it greater weight. So,
Yeah,
wow. Very
yeah,
cool. Like challenging on the one hand, but like you said, just gives it a certain cachet, I guess.
for sure. Yeah. And another thing I really appreciate about the city is just like how like kind of open and how like normalized sexuality is. I think like compared to where I'm from. And again, like I just find so far everybody has just been very supportive, and it's been really nice.
Wow, that's very, very nice to hear. Have you had a chance to watch many other films while you're there?
I haven't. No, I've just kind of been. Um, well, actually, the friends I'm staying with, we've been doing some filming,
You've
um,
been doing, sorry, what?
some filming as
You
well.
have. Okay, so you're working on your
Yeah.
next project already while you're there at the festival. Charlton,
Just
you're just like a creative fountain. So are you allowed to tell us anything about what it's going to, kind of encompass, or is it on the super DL right now?
well, it's kind of like a night walker, sort of like zombie or somebody that's been like in a bunker for a long time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm filming with my friend Francois Pisapia, and it's his project. So yeah, I'm just like a dancer in the film.
So you are really making great use of your time there. I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I would ask you what's next, but I mean, obviously that's part of what you're working on. Anything else though that's like your specific project that you're thinking about next?
Yeah, I've kind of just been thinking about maybe making something a little bit darker and like scary. I've just been thinking a lot about the idea of being afraid of nothing, like nothing being your fear or something, or being afraid of the dark, and just playing with that.
How interesting that you say this because I spoke to another filmmaker who has a film there at the festival, and his film translates in English to Nothing to See Here, and he filmed like nothing going on in a neighborhood. And so I'm wondering if this is a larger trend of, nothing becoming, something as a topic. It's very provocative, huh? Because it's just standing everything that we think of on its head. Because you're always supposed to be, especially in Western culture, doing, producing, whatever. There needs to be this constant motion. Otherwise, you're not, putting up to, I don't know, your full potential. That is not the case, obviously, in more Eastern kind of cultures, which maybe, more meditative or something like this. Or, I think of the great almost nothingness of Japanese tea services, which is, really as slow as you can do something, right? So that the antithesis. There's not that one is better or worse than the other, just the idea of exploring them and what they mean to a specific culture. I don't know. I think you guys might really be onto something. It's just really,
Cool.
really fascinating.
Yeah.
I love to hear like what might be the upcoming trends as like I talk to you guys and you hear like once you hear a couple of things from like people over and over, then you're like, oh, that might be the next hot thing. So you guys, the next hot thing is nothing. And that's like really easy because we don't have to do anything. So I love this. But no, various interpretations on nothing. Very cool.
Yeah.
So Charlton, how can we keep up with you to see all the nothingness and everything else? Are you active on social or have a site or what's best?
Yeah, I have Instagram, and my handle on that is Charlton Originals. And I also have a website. It's just charltondiaz.com.
Great. And I'm sure that, I mean, I haven't seen your social, but of course the site, but I'm sure it's more than inspiring and creative. So just to be able to pop in for a few minutes is going to be a good break. But I can't thank you enough for taking the time to speak with us. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
Um, no, not really.
How long are you going to stay there?
I'm staying here until the 24th.
Okay, so a little while longer. And it's cool because you get to hang out with your friend and stay there instead of paying like very expensive hotel rate in a fine hotel in Berlin. So that's cool. Are clubs open yet?
There's some, I think, but it's like very low key. I think at one point, like music was allowed to be played, but no dancing was
Which is
allowed.
kind of like you could do that in your house. That's, I think, one of the big losses in Berlin, especially for COVID, etc. I mean, so many losses, of course, but the DJ scene in there and clubs that, just legendary, very, very creative at the zenith of that style of music. You know what I mean? Like that was the first place coming out of like club environment in New York back in the day, to hear even like some of the really cool ones like would open at like 4 p.m. You'd be like, what? People staying there for like 12 hours and all that.
Yeah.
So I guess it would take a little while for that to come back, full force. But I'm sure as soon as they get the green light, like, yeah, because that's part of Berlin culture, huh? Like, yes. Pretzels, art, DJing, come on, like, yeah. Well, Charlton, thanks so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time there. I hope it's like doesn't like stay, too rainy, or if it is, like not too heavy. So
for sure.
And yes, best of luck, continued success with what you're doing.
Thank you.
You guys, I hope that you have enjoyed watching this interview. As you can see, I mean, Charlton is somebody very special, not like your average filmmaker, somebody who's, I think, shall we say, multidisciplined. The name of the film again is VCR's Choice. Try and check it out if you can see it. Wait, are you going to have it on like your site in full, or how is that going to go, since it's something that's unusual that wouldn't be picked up, for example, by like Netflix or something, so that you can see it?
Well, it's actually going to be in the archives for Arsenal here. They decided to distribute it, I guess.
Ah, so great. So then people can access it that way.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
We can keep up with it via your site anyway.
Yeah,
news and information about it. Great. Okay. All right, you guys. As always, I am Lauren DeLisa Coleman for Filmio. We will be bringing you more during the Berlin Film Festival, so don't miss it. Thanks so much for watching.